Hi, welcome. Good morning to Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, best football tactical analysis channel. Thank you very much. If this is your first time joining the channel, or I've been my journey as a thank you very much. You've joined us. Like we always do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notification, and share the link. Share the link. That's very, very important part. So do want to share the link in there. It's a big Champions League preview. Big Champions League preview. Big Champions League preview. See, Thomas Tuchel and Real Madrid, especially for Thomas Tuchel and Carlo Ancelotti, two of the most distinct managers. And when I say distinct, I mean in terms of tactical setup, temperament, and persona on the touchline. Ancelotti, ice cold calm on the touchline. Even when Nehemiah a little bit difficult for people to deal with, Ancelotti, calm. For Thomas Tuchel, or a more theatrical, more vocal on the touchline, or issue a lot of instructions and more charismatic with a loud approach as compared to Carlo Ancelotti, who is more reserved but also very charismatic as a manager. And the style of play is different. But Thomas Tuchel is a more hybrid man, can play similarly to what Carlo Ancelotti plays. And you see, Ufasa Madrid team now, the biggest worry is that how do you set up against them? And Thomas Tuchel, that's his biggest worry today. How do you set up against Real Madrid? Because do you allow Madrid to have the ball? Mind you, they have midfielders that are able to keep the low distance midfielders very, very deep and then catch you on the break. They also have two excellent ball winners. They have very, very good ball carriers as well in Eduardo Camavinga, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric. Very, very good ball carriers and players that dictate the pace of the game from deep. Oriani Chiumeni, and then of course Federico Valverde. These boys can do the job. Indeed, how do you set up against them? We saw the job of Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo Goes from out wide, from that left hand side in a 4-4-2 diamond shape. Against Manchester City, he tweaked something small. He played in a 4-2-3-1 without the ball, where Vinicius Jr. was up top. Then there was Federico Valverde, there was Rodrigo Goes, there was Jude Bellingham behind them. Very, very compact so that you can't go through those lines. So how should Thomas Tuchel set up against Ancelotti? And it's a big Champions League conversation. So what's next now, when you want to do the tactical analysis, you want to get into the nitty-gritty, sir, you ask yourself, how can this pan out? How is this going to pan out? Who is going to win what? What is going to be the dynamics of games? No? And a big question for everybody. You understand? And for Germany, a big chance for them to have two teams in the final. So these are the possible storylines. First of all, today, obviously, there's going to be Bayern versus Real Madrid at the Allianz Arena. Mind you, Ancelotti did the Real Madrid team at 3-0 and qualified them. And that was the day, in my opinion, that Toni Kroos shared Real Madrid team and he knew that, I need to go there. Because it was quality. Cristiano Ronaldo were at the top of it. As part of the storylines, one of the things you should know is that Thomas Tuchel, after that Leverkusen confirmation said they were going to win the German Bundesliga, Bayern seemed to be playing better compactly, especially when they play in the Champions League. And Leon Goretzka, after that Arsenal qualification, came out to tell everybody, said there seemed to be something that are no feeling and all the players are feeling in the dressing room. And it is very clear, said they believe that something can happen. And of course, wins do unite teams. And given where they've come from, given the things that they had seen, obviously they are going to get wins and they've gotten wins that are going to unite them. So there is some unity in the team from the Bayern perspective, which is very, very huge, very important, given what Bayern have gone through all of this season. Forget about what Ole Hoeneß has Aka in the last few days about Thomas Tuchel, the fact that Osi Ontimi developing the young players and whatnot. I mean, you don't expect that from Ole Hoeneß. And I'm hearing that Thomas Tuchel was very vocal with respect to his dissentiment on Asemna Ole Hoeneß at Bayern. Very, very important stuff. Now, for Madrid, you look at this team. Lastly on Thomas Tuchel, however, Thomas Tuchel now has a big chance. Say he meets his former team Paris Saint-Germain in the final of the Champions League. Because there's going to be Paris Saint-Germain versus Borussia Dortmund. Yes, anybody at all can qualify. But I'm saying that Thomas has a chance to meet his former team in Paris Saint-Germain in the final of the Champions League. Mind you, he lost the only final he went to with Paris Saint-Germain to Bayern. So if he goes in there, the storyline is going to come. The mystic stuff is going to come up. We'll talk about the possible things that can happen in there. What's nature holds for Thomas Tuchel as a manager? How was it going to pan out? Is Harry Kane going to win the Champions League for the very first time with Bayern? All of these storylines are there and very important things for us to deep into. But for me today, the biggest take of today's analysis is about the 5 ways that for me Thomas Tuchel is going to use to dismantle Real Madrid. And I don't think Madrid has a chance in qualifying. Tactically on the field of play, I've seen it before. I've seen it before. I've lived it, and I've seen how good Thomas Tuchel has been playing against Real Madrid. I've done it before. The next time he tried it, he was unsuccessful. Albeit it was very close, and that's the thing with Thomas Tuchel as a manager. And no wonder Carlo Ancelotti went into that pre-match press conference, and no catch will be. I was telling everybody that the quality of Thomas Tuchel tactically a par excellence. But the biggest problem with Thomas Tuchel, and something I think he can learn from Carlo Ancelotti, is the fact that he needs to learn how to manage people, being a people manager, being a people person. You don't always have to be the boss. You don't always have to boss people around. You don't always have to be the main guy. Sometimes, even as the leader, you need to take a step back and allow the people who are less fancy take the front seat. That's the issue of Thomas Tuchel. From Stuttgart, Augsburg, straight to Dortmund, to Paris Saint-Germain, coming to Chelsea, and then straight to Bayern. He has always had issues with the people at the top because sometimes he can't allow people to take the lead and let people manage things whilst he takes the back seat. And that's a big deal for Thomas Tuchel, something that he can learn from Papa and friend Carlo Ancelotti. Now, let us first look at Paris Saint-Germain versus Dortmund. Paris Saint-Germain are going to go and play against Dortmund. Big chance for them. Social Dortmund first game, normal boy against Atletico de Madrid. The second one at the Signal Iduna, you could tell character. And I've said it in last 2 weeks pre-match analysis, and I said one of the coaches that is largely underrated is Edin Terzic, and he was quality last season. It was Graham Potter and Ian Freeman over there, but you could tell that he's a quality manager. He understood what he wanted to do. He was a top manager. Now, if you look at the quality of Edin Terzic and the kind of football that he wants to play, more deep block, but with pace and a counter attack, using the likes of Jadon Sancho and then Ian Matheson from fullback. Also, it's understanding of the center backs now from Nico Schlotterbeck and Nicolas Süle. They understand what they want to do in their team. And every time, they seem to have that squad in depth. When Julian Brandt and Fiifi-Manfred with Mark Rose and he takes the pace of the game, always there is either Sab Hilaire with Mayfield bench about to come and turn things around. But I've said it that for me, one of the most tactically astute coaches in the Champions League is Luis Enrique. In terms of quality, in terms of the amount on and off the ball, what he can do for the team. And for me, he inspired one of the best games that I saw in the Champions League this season. What he did to Barcelona, that's Ramotanda. Luis Enrique was asked in his pre-match press conference, does he think spaces can be defended better? And that's a little bit in contrast to Jasima to say, Pep Guardiola can't respect spaces and time. For Luis Enrique, you have to create your space and then allow the opponents to find how they want to respond to it. And one of the things he mentioned is using numerical superiority, winning the numbers game. And that's what he did with Bradley Barcola from out wide when he went into that game against Barcelona. And again, Marquinhos has come out to say, he said, if you look at Luis Enrique, one of the things that he did to win the game was for them to allow Ronald Araujo have the ball. Because they know that with Ronald Araujo, if you let him dictate the pace of the game and not Marc-Andre ter Stegen, you will have a lot of numbers. You can win the numbers game in central areas. And when he goes long as well, with Hernandez and then Marquinhos, they will win the area draws as well, which was very good. Very, very, very tactical. I mean, very small, but very tactical. Smart thing to do from coach and friend Luis Enrique. And for me, if he's going to play against a game against Dortmund, yes, it's not so much of a big game, but my money is on Paris Saint-Germain. I've seen the things Paris Saint-Germain can do, especially with Kylian Mbappe. Yes, when you had a very good game in that game, in the first round now, my boy, away at the Parc des Princes. But the Moujik, when things turned around, they needed somebody to take Real Madrid, to take Paris Saint-Germain to the next step. It was Kylian Mbappe, and he turned it around. I'm expecting for him to go through. I was with Paris Saint-Germain definitely should be able to go on and get a job done. Now to the big one, tactically. The 5 things that I've said about how Thomas Tuchel can go into it. And it starts from last week. Thomas Tuchel said something about how Madrid for a bomb. Um, you watch Thomas Tuchel. Now, Oshe, how um, how he analyzed Real Madrid, and that's the first thing I want to look at over here and then start a conversation for. Thomas Tuchel said he has watched Real Madrid. So this is what Thomas Tuchel said. We have already watched Real Madrid a few times, including our analysts. We don't see it coming when they score. That's the first thing about Real Madrid. You don't see them it's coming when they score. So only Madrid they bar. Sometimes you think Real Madrid are dead. You are controlling the game seemingly. Madrid make you feel so who control game now. Then they kill you. They spring up a surprise. They rise up from their death and then they score. You don't see it coming. Sorry. Key example is that Eduardo Camavinga equalizer at the Bernabeu. Out of nothing, then the ball takes a ricochet and then the goal goes in and it becomes 1-1. Then they get the confidence. They begin to believe out of Santiago Bernabeu, so they can go on and win the game. That's Real Madrid. That's what they are made of. That's the things that make Real Madrid stand. That's the reason why they've won over and over and over and over again. Because mentally, psychologically, they believe that they can get the job done. And that's what he said. They have great individual quality. They do. Two excellent ball carriers. I've told you, mind you, it should be part of every analysis when you're looking at the Madrid Bayern game. Excellent ball carriers in Camavinga and Luka Modric that can turn the game on its head. Anytime Camavinga can carry from deep. Anytime in build-up you have Orenchi, man, you have Toni Kroos that can control the game from deep. Anytime Luka Modric, once he comes on, can turn on the game on its head. In there, individual quality, their power in transition. Of course, there's individual quality, and the moms have power in transition, and anytime they play, they're very good at that. Then that's what defines them. They are always a threat and are capable of progressing and winning. We can withstand difficult moments like that. So first of all, if you've watched Bayern, the things that they need to deal with against Roma, they need to deal with individual quality. I've told you, almost impossible to deal with that. They need to find ways to control the game, and you cannot control the game for 90 minutes. It's not possible. Pep Guardiola and Manchester City have showed us that when you play against Real Madrid, you can't control the game for 90 minutes. It can't happen. There is no way you control the game for 90 minutes. Now, first one is the Allianz Arena. Yes. If Tuchel can instrument a win against Madrid this season, it starts with the Allianz Arena. And the Allianz Arena have come to understand, say, the German Bundesliga is gone. Forget about every other thing. We need to make sure that we go as far as possible in the Champions League. And what bigger foe can it be than Real Madrid? I mean, the real owners of the Champions League. And that's what Tuchel said at the Allianz Arena. See, we need an absolute top atmosphere. It's always great. It was great against Arsenal. It has to even be better now. We also need the spectators to support us, even in moments when it becomes more difficult. We need maximum support to get through phases in which we have to suffer together with the spectators, and we need to create an atmosphere to give us an advantage. So first of all, it starts with the atmosphere, and like against Arsenal, I believe that it's going to happen against Real Madrid. There's going to be a huge atmosphere, an atmosphere where Real Madrid may not be so much intimidated, but will give Bayern their confidence to play through some of those tough moments. So that's one. Second one, Tuchel and Bayern know how to suffer. They can suffer. The days where they have to suffer, they have to sit in, they have to dig in, they have to analyze the game, they have to look through the tough times, they have to get jobs done. And it happened against Arsenal. Very tactical, especially the first 30 minutes. Now, Ubisa was like, how is this going to happen? How was it that Bayern by playing against Arsenal, the first 30 minutes, it was just checkmate, 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 checkmate. Everybody just goes for the move. This one cancels, this one goes for the move, this one cancels, and it was top tactical display. And Tuchel has that's know-how. He has that temperament to coach a team like that. So for me, first of all, it is about how Bayern will be able to suffer. And it's in there. If you look at the possible lineup Bayern are going for in such a game, obviously the big captain is going to get back into posing Neuer. Kim Jae-min is going to be back in the team with Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer is in there because excellent, very, very good box defender, not so good on the ball, and he's going to be a decoy. He was a decoy against Arsenal, and Thomas Tuchel used him brilliantly well. Joshua Kimmich and Mazraoui are going to play as fullbacks. Like Conor Gleima, Goretzka, Jamal Musiala in the middle, Leroy Sané, Guerrero, and then Harry Kane are going to lead the lines up front. Of course, for Real Madrid, Mendy, Rudiger, Chimeni, Vasquez, Valverde, Camavinga, Cruz, Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo Goes are going to lead the lines. Top team of them. So first of all, it's about suffering. And one of the things I've seen, and is that when anytime Bayern are playing in games like this, high intensity games, what they do is that they don't go too much with a high press. They sit a little bit mid, a little bit low, between mid and then low. Then they push up slightly. It's not too low. They push up slightly. Now, first thing is that they want to use the sweeping ability of Manuel Neuer. So that it's not too high, it's not too deep as well. So immediately the ball gets pinned behind the Manuel Neuer, excellent in terms of sweeping. He is the guy in terms of sweeping. If he wants the goalkeeper that did a job in terms of sweeping at the back, then it's Manuel Neuer to come and sweep at the back line and then push the game forward. If you want somebody, then so that they can make the pick very and the block has to be very compact. So very, very compact, blocking on almost every passing lane. And I've told you that Madrid are killers because the individual quality in Camavinga and Modric to carry the ball, if they are on the pitch, is mind-boggling. Chimeni can dictate the pace of the game from deep. Same for Toni Kroos and Federico Valverde. Bellingham can pop up and get goals. That's Madrid. So first of all, the block has to be very compact for Bayern. They have what it takes to do that. They did it against Arsenal. They've done it before in the German Bundesliga. Very compatible. Tuchel did that. And if you go back to that Chelsea team that beats Real Madrid, Thomas Tuchel played a hybrid wing back and then a wing forward using Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And when he used Ruben Loftus-Cheek at the time, it was a brilliant display. Just that this time you can't use Jamal Musiala or you can't use Sané. Their engines can't do that job. So that's why the 4-4-2 is brilliant for everything that Thomas Tuchel wants to do against Real Madrid today. That's it. So the atmosphere, the compactness of the block or the suffering, and then we've got into the compactness of the block in the 4-4-2. Then the sweeping ability have made it about 3 or 4 points in there. And then, for me, the tactical nuance of Thomas Tuchel, the most important thing, the in-game management, how to tweak the game. You see, managers like Pep want control. They want to get control. But you just can't control the game 100% against a team like Real Madrid. It's just going to slip through your fingers. You think that you have the control, but essentially you wait for a while and realize you actually don't have the control. You end up winning the game. And Robert Lewandowski has said it a lot. People have said it. That's what Madrid does to you. You think that you have the control, but you wake up and then you realize that you just don't have that control that you thought that you were going to have. And then you wake up and then Madrid are winning the game and you have to solve how do we get here. I think that in the end, however, it might be about who hits harder. And Bayern's advantage, in my opinion, a stadium. No? For me, that's going to be very important because on paper and both sides, there can be an upper hand. And it's about the compactability, the man on the touchline, the ideas on Thomas Tuchel's head to change things. The block has to be very compact for Bayern. And I think that Madrid is a great team. I respect them. But see, tactically, I just think Thomas Tuchel is just notches higher than Carlo Ancelotti and this team. Like he can inspire that way. So I think that Bayern are going to go through. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. I know you enjoy this. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notification. We're going to have a field night tonight. Enjoy. Bye.